To be quite honest, I used to think that I have ADHD because there were moments when I couldn't focus for more than 2 minutes or so. Reading a full book, impossible. Watching a movie without checking my phone, forget it. And my brain felt like it was melting. But here's the thing, I didn't have ADHD. I had something way more common, and in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how I went from having the attention span of a goldfish to being able to do deep, focused work for hours. 4 strategies that actually work. Let's get into it. So let me take you back a few years ago. I genuinely thought something was broken in my brain. I was easily distracted, I couldn't sit still when I needed to concentrate, and I'd start a task and within minutes I'd be scrolling Instagram or watching random YouTube videos. Sounds familiar? And that's when I kind of realized that maybe I wasn't broken. I was just overstimulated. My brain has been hijacked by dopamine pumping content, and I basically train myself to need that constant dopamine stimulation, just to feel normal in a sense. And every app, every notification, every autoplay video was rewiring my brain to crave the next hit. And the scary part is that I didn't even realize that this was happening. So I did what any desperate person would do. I started researching, I read books, I watched lectures, and I just tried about every productivity hack on the internet so far. And one book in particular called Dopamine Nation by psychiatrist Dr. Anna Lembke changed my outlook on this whole issue completely. She explained how our modern world is basically designed to flood our brains with dopamine, and it makes it nearly impossible to do anything difficult or meaningful nowadays. We're living in a world that's created for you to chase the next hit of dopamine, and no matter how you look at it, you're losing. The higher the dopamine peak, the lower the crash afterward. And that's when it clicked. It wasn't about me being lazy or undisciplined, but this entire world around me was engineered to steal my attention. From Subway Surfers gameplay under TikToks to AI-generated slop filling my feed, everything was designed to keep me hooked just for one more second. And our brains simply weren't built for this. They're biologically at least the same as they were 10,000 years ago when we were cavemen trying to hunt prey and living in caves. So I got fed up. I decided to fight back. And over the next few years, I learned 4 strategies that helped me break free from this overstimulated nightmare and reclaim my brain. Here's what worked. So the first breakthrough came for me when I read the book Deep Work by productivity expert Cal Newport, where he makes this massive distinction between deep work and shallow work. And here's what shallow work looks like. You sit down to study for an exam or finish a work project, you open your laptop, you put on some music in the background, then you check your phone. Maybe you open a YouTube video on your second monitor, just for background noise, right? You switch between tasks constantly. 4 hours later, you're exhausted, frustrated, and you've accomplished almost nothing. Sound familiar? And Cal Newport explains that this so-called shallow work doesn't work because our brains basically are not capable to do real multitasking. Of course, you can walk and listen to a podcast. You can eat and watch a YouTube video, but you cannot watch a YouTube video and write an essay at the same time, or have a conversation and write a long text message at the same time. You think you make your work easier by multitasking and doing multiple things at the same time? The real reason this doesn't work is because your brain, when you at least attempt to do multitasking, it's basically hopping and switching from task A to task B all the time, and this creates huge mental cost in your brain, and it's really mentally fatiguing. And that means when you switch from writing an essay to watching a YouTube video, from watching that YouTube video to writing that essay again, you think you're multitasking, but you're basically just draining your mental battery at double time. So here's what Newport recommends, and it sounds radical, but it works. Eliminate shallow work entirely. From now on, you're either going 100% beast mode focus or 100% resting. No in between. And here's what many people get wrong in the first place. It's that many people think that they can work for 8 hours or 10 hours or 12 hours on end, but modern studies show that the human mind is only capable to at least focus when you're doing cognitive mental work for about 4 to 5 hours properly, if not even less. That means from anywhere from 1 hour to 4 hours or 5 hours, get in there, tackle that task, try to be 100% focused, eliminate all distractions around you. So no YouTube videos, no texting in between, just you and the task and focus like your life depends on it. And then after 4 or 5 hours, make a hard stop. And that's it for the day. You're done. After that, you enter what Newport calls deep rest. You actually rest. You hang out with friends, you take a nap, you go for a walk, you recharge, and because you weren't half working, half scrolling all day, you don't feel guilty, you don't feel behind. You actually relax, and tomorrow you have the energy to focus again. And this was basically the biggest game changer for me, because when I half-ass both, and I kind of work, I kind of relax at the same time, I work on a project and watch a YouTube video at the same time, I'm neither really working nor very very much relaxing. And the crucial point to understand is that this doesn't mean that you're a little bit relaxing and a little bit working. It means that you're doing neither of them. And once you basically start to separate both, your productivity in both will increase dramatically because you're so much more productive at work and you feel so much more relaxed after the work. So strategy number 2, rebuild your attention span. And here's a problem. I told you earlier that you should just sit down and focus and be 100% concentrated for 4 hours. But the problem is most people cannot do this anymore. Dr. Lemke explains this perfectly in Dopamine Nation. Every time you engage in short, high dopamine behavior, scrolling TikTok, watching YouTube shorts, eating junk food, you flood your brain with dopamine and your brain loves it. But here's the catch, as I said earlier, the higher the dopamine peak, the lower the crash afterwards. It's like a seesaw. The more intense the pleasure, the worse you feel immediately after. And the more often you do it, the harder it becomes to find joy in slower, more meaningful activities. So the rule of thumb is the quicker the dopamine hit, the worse it is for you. Think of drugs, for example. And the things that kind of matter most in life, like talking to people, reading a book, or just enjoying like nature or whatever it is, like normal day-to-day activities, they give you dopamine slowly. You have to stick through the boring part first, but modern media has trained your brain to expect instant gratification. And now anything that doesn't give you a hit within 3 seconds feels unbearable. Such as studying, for example, such as working on a project, such as just sitting down and doing the work. And the thing is, you won't have your focus back just after watching this video, for example. You have to slowly retrain your attention span. I said that my attention span was the same as a goldfish, and that was true. And I had to like slowly work my way out of that. And one simple trick how you can do that is to slowly, over time, gradually improve your attention span by doing little tiny swaps. That means if you're watching TikToks or YouTube shorts all the time, stop that entirely and instead watch full long form YouTube videos again, because who does this anymore? If you then kind of like trained your attention span to watch full long form YouTube videos instead of YouTube shorts or TikToks, then maybe you can switch to full shows or documentaries or movies, for example. Once you trained your attention span to just sit there for 2 hours, which feels unbearable previously when you're actually used to TikToks, then you can slowly move forward, and instead of watching a movie for 2 hours, you can say that, for example, you pick up a book. Choose the one that requires a little bit more attention span and slowly improve over time. I mean, like with books, if you haven't read a book in years, then start something short and engaging. At first 1 page a day, 5 pages a day, 20 pages a day, build up from there. The goal isn't to become a monk overnight, it's to train your brain to tolerate boredom again, because that's where real focus lives. Strategy number 3, embrace boredom. There was this famous experiment where researchers put people in an empty room. And there they had 2 options. Sit there and do nothing, or press a button that would give them a mild electric shock. And guess what happened? 60% of men and 25% of women decided to rather electrocute themselves because they found it to be too boring instead of just sitting there in an empty room in silence. People would rather experience pain than boredom. And that's where we are as a society. Smartphones killed boredom. You wake up, you check your phone. You commute, you listen to a podcast. You go to bed, you scroll Instagram. And there's not a single moment where you're just there, just existing without input. And here's the problem. Boredom isn't the enemy. Boredom is exactly what is needed for your well-being. Because when you're bored, your brain doesn't shut off. It shifts rather into high gear. It processes emotions. It gets creative. That's where the famous shower thoughts come from. That's where your best ideas happen. And research shows that moments of boredom actually reduce anxiety, lower stress, and improve focus. So here's what I started doing. I just started to identify moments in my day where I could just be without anything happening, without consuming anything, without being distracted or engaged in something. That means when I had my breakfast, I would put my phone away and just sit there in silence. When I had a commute, maybe this time, maybe today, I just drive somewhere without listening to music, without listening to a podcast. Later in the day, one meal without YouTube playing, one walk without music, just me and my thoughts. And yeah, of course, when you first start doing that, it feels uncomfortable. You want to be distracted, you want to be engaged in something. But if you just stick to it for a couple of days or couple of weeks rather, then your brain will slowly adapt to this again. And of course, you don't have to go full monk mode. You don't need a silent retreat or so. Just give yourself a few minutes of doing nothing every day and your brain will thank you. So I hope this video was helpful to you. And if you want to see more about how to increase your focus and productivity, then maybe check out this video where I explained what the so-called Pomodoro technique is that will allow you to basically get instant focus within 25 minutes. Close YouTube and be a little bit bored. See you in the next one. Bye bye.